Namaskar and good evening, dear devotees, friends. Let us begin. Today is the first Friday of the month, so we will study the Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, from 36th verse. And as usual, let us begin with this Gita Dhyana Mantra, the first and the fifth one. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaita Amritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadeshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsacharnu Ramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagat Gurum. We were studying the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The 11th chapter means Vishwarupa Darshan. There's a very unique way. Arjuna, he accepted Krishna as God. His doubt almost gone. But even then, as the human being is always curious, Arjuna is the representative of the human being. He wanted to see God in that. Yes, I know that you have told that you are everything, but still, can you please show me? He told that Sri Krishna. And that Sri Krishna, he is showing him. When he showed this, the Vishwarupa, Vishwa means the whole universe. A Rupa, that is the form. The whole universe, the form of the whole universe. Then even the hero like Arjuna was shaking out of fear. And we have gone through those things, the description, how he saw what he saw. Now today, in the 35th verse of the 11th chapter, the Sanjaya, the witness. The Sanjaya, he also observed, and now he is giving the commentary to the Dhritarashtra, and he says, Sanjaya uvacha etat sutva bachanam keshavasya kritanjali bepamana kiriti namaskritva bhuya ibaha krishnam sagad gadam bhita pranamya. He understood this. He said, the sagad gadam bhita pranamya. The Arjuna, how he behaved after seeing this, the Sanjaya giving the description. He said, Eta srutva bachanam keshavasya. After listening to these, the words of the Keshava, Keshava means the Krishna, hearing these, the speech of the Keshava and seeing that, what happened to Arjuna? Kritanjali vepamana kiriti. Now here the Arjuna is Kiriti. And this Kiriti, he folded his hand and knelt down, and with great devotion, Namaskritva bhuya ivaha Krishnam sagad gadam bhita pranamya. Out of fear, again and again, he was offering his pranam to Sri Krishna. And Sagad Gadam, he is choked in emotion. The tears are rolling down, choked in emotion, the voice. And he was telling. So, Sanjaya, very wonderful description. He observed the complete condition of the Arjuna. What is that condition? Friends, we all know that it is said, Ashta Swatika Bikara. The Bikara means a type of changes and type of you can see in the body. The path of devotion, particularly, they say, that when you see God, when you realize God, what happens to that person, the realized soul? 8 different type of things happen in him physically. So one can see that, one can understand that he is going through these experiences. So what are those? Ashta means 8, Shwatika means pure, Bikara, the changes that comes in the body. First is the Sweda, the sweat. All over the body there will be the sweat. And then Romancha, haripulation. So that will be the haripulation. You can understand that whenever a people are very happy or very excited, all the hair they stand on end. That's called haripulation. And here when I see the God, it is happening like that. Swarabhanga is a broken voice. Out of great joy, out of great love, out of great excitement, the voice that break. Bipathu, this trembling. And Boibarna, discolor. Osru, the tear. Pralaya, senselessness. And Stamba, stiffness. He becomes stiff, can't move. So these are the 8 Swatika Bikara. Many of you who have gone through the biography of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, you know that he was having this type of experiences. Ordinary people, they don't know the scripture, they don't have any idea. They used to say that he is becoming mad and he is behaving like this. Then one lady saint came. She saw and she understood. And then she challenged the people over there in the Dakshineshwar that call all the scholars and I will prove that this Sri Ramakrishna is an avatar. And she proved that. That is the history it says. She proved it. The Sweda, Romancha, Sarabhanga, Bipathu, Boibarna, Asru, Pralaya and Stamba. Now here we find in the description of the Sanjaya, the Arjuna, which is the address as a Kiriti, he is having at least 3 the sign of this. When he saw that great God standing before him and the whole pralaya is going on, he is killing everyone, all people, all being, everything going inside him. It came out of him and it went going in. So Arjuna, his expression, the 3 Swatik Bikara is very clear. What is that? Sagad Gadam, the broken voice, the one of the Swatik Bikara, 8 Swatik Bikara. Swagad Gadam. Second, it's the Asru, tear. How the voice has broken, how? Shankaracharya says because he was almost crying, the tears were rolling. So naturally that out of emotion. So Asru is also one of the Swatik Bikara. And Bepathu, Bepamana means Bepathu is trembling. Arjuna's this Swatik Bikara, it is very natural because he saw God. Now in 36, Arjuna Uvacha. Those who are interested, if you like to learn this, the chanting of the Bhagavad Gita, in the Ramakrishna Mission tradition, we do like this. And many other places, they give a lot of different type of tunes. But we very simple way we do. We learned it in our training center, and it says, Arjuna uvacha sthane rishikesha tabapakirta jagat prahishyatya anurajyate cha rakshamsi bhitani disho drabanti sarve namasyanti cha siddha sangaha kashmachatena namiran mahatman gari ase brahmana pyadikatre ananta devesha jagannivasa twamaksharam sadasat tatparam yat. It goes like this. 11th chapter, this part particularly, the 4 lines verses, the tune will be like this. So what Arjuna says? Sthane rishikesha taba prikrita. Here, sthane means acceptable, understandable. What is understandable? Taba prakritya jagat prahitasya anurajyate cha. The whole jagat, the whole universe, the whole human being, they are praising you. They're taking your name and praising their, so because they are very happy after doing that. When they are remembering God and also remembering the divine activities of the God, particularly Krishna here, so naturally they will be respectful to you. And what happened? Rakshamsi bhitani disho drabanti. Those who are bad type of people, Rakshamsi, they go away. They go away, they scatter away. All these people, when you are taking the name of God, bad people cannot sit over there. Because their mind is completely dark with the worldly things. Their mind cannot go up the, as we call the yogis, they say, we have 7 stages in the body, right from the Muladhara up to that the Shirsha. So that first 3 stages, their mind is up to the navel. They cannot come up. So always think about the body, the physical comfort, and they like to hear about that too. So all these things. And when they talk about God, other people are talking about God, meditating on God, singing the glory of God. These people whom the Arjuna is addressing as the Rakshamsi, Rakshasa, they are very bad type of people because their mind is completely engrossed in the worldly things, name, fame, and for that they can do anything. Sometimes some news that comes, really, that shakes the whole world. How people can be so ruthless, so cruel. Even the animals don't behave like that. Unless they are hungry, they don't eat. They don't kill anything. But here the people, just for the ordinary little girl, hardly 8 years, 19 years, they are killing them, torturing them. Who are these people? In the human body, are they not Rakshasas? And those who are supporting them, trying to save them, they are also same. So they don't like the God. They may be using the name of God, but they don't like God. So they go away. So when the true people they come, so Arjuna is telling, Sthane rishikesha tava prakritya yagat prahishyascha tan anurajyate cha rakshamsi vitani disho drabamsi. Rakshamsi, all these bad people of the Rakshasas, sarve namasyanti cha siddha sangaha. And the great people, siddha means those who have already realized. Sangha means the group of those people, almost all of them. Why almost? All of them. They come and they praise to that God. And Kasmachatina Ramiran Mahatman Gari Ashe Brahmana Pyadikatre Ananta Devesha Jagannivasha Tamaksharam Sadasat Tatparam Yat. He said, and why not? all should come and bow down to you because you are the Ananta, Devesha, Jagannivasa. He is going on giving the Arjuna, he is telling, giving like this, you are the Ananta. Ananta means infinite. The word, Sanskrit word Ananta means the infinite. No Anta, na Anta iti. Anta means end. Na Anta, Ananta. Na means negative. Na means no. No limit. Ananta. That means what? Infinite. And we cannot imagine the infinite. And that's why the God very kindly has taken the form, the human form, Krishna. This time in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he has taken that form so that we can concentrate on that. Ananta, then Deva Isha, Devesha. Deva means God, and Isha means the God. That you are the God of gods. Those who are godly people, very good people, kind-hearted people, realized people, you are the God of that, the Devesha. And Jagannivasa, you are the repository, you are the place where the world, the universe is sustaining. Nivasa, they are residing. Where? In you. What is residing? Jagat. Not one or two, everything residing on that. Tvam Aksharam. And you are the Akshara. Akshara means the undecayed. No Shaya, Akshara. And Sad Asat Tat Param. Sat and Asat. This Sat means that is manifested, and Asat, unmanifested, at everything you are beyond that. Sat Asat Tat Param Yat. You are beyond the Sat and you are beyond the Asat also. So wonderfully he is mentioning that you go beyond all these. So here again he is telling that in the 37th verse it says, the being the non-being. The Sat means manifested here, Sat, and Asat means unmanifested, which from the Upadhis. So here it's of the, so Akshara of that which is imperishable, that Akshara, and Sat and Asat. Things that has not manifested and things that are already manifested. And what has manifested? Like that fast-born Brahma, Hiranyagarbha, the first manifested. And down to this whole, everything in this world, everything in this earth. You are beyond that, Param. Because this Supreme Being cannot be anything that is limited. Now friends, here, anything that manifested, where from it came? From that God. And the unmanifested that has not yet come, it is in God, that Supreme Being. But the God is not limited into that. So it is beyond that. To give the example, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, magician and its magic. The magician out of the hat bringing out so many things, sometimes pigeons, sometimes many other things, from the hat. Some manifested, and inside the hat unmanifested. These are all from that magician. But magician is not limited into that, it's beyond that. If we try to understand, it will be very easy for us. So this universe which is manifested and the other things which are not manifested, God is beyond this. The manifested, unmanifested, beyond that. The kasmachatena rameran mahatman gariyase brahmana adikatre. And why should they not, O great one, bow down thee? because you are the primal cause of the Brahma, an infinite being, O Lord of the Devas, you are the abode of the universe, and you are the imperishable, the being and the non-being, and that which is beyond them, everything. And then in the 38th verse it says, Tvamadideva Purusha Purana Tvamassa Vishwasya Param Nidhanam Vityasi Vidyancha Parancha Dhama Tvaya Tatam Vishyam Ananta Rupa Vayur Yamagni Varuna Shashanka Prajapatistvam Prapitamahascha Nama Namastestu Sahasrakritva Punascha Bhuyopi Nama Namaste. Up to 39. And it goes on telling, the Arjuna is going on telling that Tvam Adi Deva, you are the primal Deva, and the Purusha, Purana. Adi Deva is the primal. Adi is the prime, the beginning, and the Deva, the God. You are the primal Devata. And you are the ancient Purusha. The ancient means eternal. It's not that some old, no, it's eternal. And Purusha, that consciousness which is residing in every being. So that is called the Purusha. Tvam Adideva Purusha Purana. Tvam Asya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. And also, and you are the supreme refuge of this universe. Tvam, you, Asya Vishwasya, this universe, Vishya, Param Nidhanam. You are the refuge, all they can go to you. Vityasi Vidyancha Parancha Dhama. And you are the knower and the one thing to be known. Now here, knower and also the known. This is from the Vedantic point of view. It becomes very easy to understand. I am trying to realize God. But who am I? God. If I am not God, in reality, I won't be able to realize God. Because God is the supreme and God is all-pervading. And unless and until I am transformed into that condition, I cannot realize that, God. So you are the knower. All this universe, whatever we see, all the manifested being are nothing but that supreme God. If that is so, if the God is everything, so who is the knower? God. And I, the manifested one, is trying to realize God, and it is I am God. At the same time, I am trying to know God. So Arjuna is telling over here that you are the knower. At the same time, you are that one to be known. People are trying to realize you. Thou art the supreme goal. The supreme goal, the ultimate, the place where the human being should go. All other beings, they're only surviving. The human being is only living. What is the difference? They survive, they just like to live, that's all. So the food is the main thing for them, a little safety and comfort, that much. But the human being cannot be satisfied with that. Having so many things, the other day I saw in the report that 1 millionaire, he has given all his property in donation. Why? Because there is no satisfaction. He himself said, I am not getting any satisfaction out of that. If the money gives us the satisfaction, why the person will give away or donate in charity all his money? So from here, from the ordinary person, he became very rich. Then he realized that this richness, this money, this property, all this, the fancy thing, and the parties, that is not giving the peace, the happiness, the joy. So obviously, what is the goal? Goal is God. And what is God? Satisfaction. And the God is the complete satisfaction. So that is the reason the human being cannot be satisfied with anything of this world. They have to go back to the source, and the source is God. So here the Arjuna is telling that you are the supreme goal. Now some people are not understanding. Some people are understanding a little intellectually. Okay, that may be, but they are not very serious. But the ultimate goal is this. So that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he said, the God realization is the goal of human being, of everyone. They must have to go. Today or tomorrow, they should have to go. There is no other way. So God realization. By thee is the universe pervaded, O boundless form. Toya tatam. Tatam means pervaded, saturated. Even when you use the word pervaded, there may be some portion where it is not. So better to use, it is saturated. In every part of it, God is there. Every part. So saturated. Visham, the Ananta Rupam. So you are in different forms, the boundless form. So all this world is saturated. And then he is telling, Vayur Yamagni Varuna Shashanka Prajapatistam Prapita Mahascha Namo Namastestu Sahasa Kritva Punascha Bhuyopi Namo Namaste Nama Purastad Atha Prishtataste Namastute Sarvata Eva Sarva Ananta Birjam Atimikramastam Swarvam Samapnoshi Tatosi Sarvaha. Now here Vayu, Yama, Agni, Varuna, Shashanka, Prajapati, you are the supreme of that. You are the Vayu, the Yoma, Agni, Varuna, the moon, Prajapati, and the great grandfather, everything. Why he mentioned like this? Because they are all the gods that was considered as the god. You know, the ancient time, the people at the time of the Veda, we can find that they used to look at the nature, and there they used to wonder how the God conception came from here. There are some opinions that the God conception came by seeing the tremendous thing that happens in this nature. And when they saw the powerful wind uprooting the big trees and carrying it at ease, they thought, oh, this wind must be the God. So Vayu. Then Yama, Vayu, Yama, everything. Agni, Varuna, Shashanka, Yama, the god of death. The people are dying. Where they are going, there must be some abode. Somebody must be keeping them like this. And then the Varuna and Agni, like all these, they gave there. That was the all ancient gods of the Vedic time. Then slowly it started changing as the progress started, and they understood, well, the nature is like this, it is happening like that, some power is there, but there must be something else. So the Hinduism is based on the science. Not that someone from somewhere came and dictated something, and that is for the eternal time the people have to follow. Not like that. It is going on researching, and through the research ultimately they came to in the time when they got that Atman. The Atman, the Brahman, that they understood oh, this Vayu, the Agni, the sun, and whatever the god and goddesses may be, this huge universe, whatever, it's coming from one, and that one is not having any form. It is all powerful because of the thought. It has a tremendous power. Just by thought it is creating and then destroying, and it's everything is sustaining in him, and whatever the creation has come is nothing but like the mirage. It is not real creation. So there are some debates about the creation, whether it is real or unreal. So that debates are there. But they all, Hindus, the Sanatana Panthi, the Vaidika Dharma Margis, they all go back to the Brahman, which is the Supreme Self, which is eternal. Why they came into this conclusion? By judging. What they judge? All that things are constantly changing. The sun is changing. Everything in this universe, in the world, in the phenomena, everything is changing. When it is changing, and I can understand the change, I can understand my change, my body and the mind. When I was a young, my body was like this, my thoughts were like this. Then I grew up, body and the mind changed. Now I am the old, it is changing. So this change, I am noticing. Who is noticing? I. Who is this I? So they went inside. Inside means the doctors are constantly watching inside the body. It's not like that. They went deep into the mind and they came out with that. And it says they were so happy when they realized that Brahman, and they shouted. They could not express that thing in words. So, ahamannam, ahamannam, like that, they were expressing the great joy. When you are in great joy, either you cry or you try to sing or you just make some sound, like that. Then we find that they are turning back and addressing the whole world. Srindantu Vishye Amritasya Putra Aye Dhamani Dibhyani Tastu. They are giving the call and telling the whole people all over the world, I have realized that. And it is beyond the darkness, beyond the ignorance. And what is that ignorance? That I am a body, I am a mind. I have this form, I have this name, I am associated with all this. No. So that is called ignorance, that is called ajnana, that is called the darkness. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotir gamaya. All this prayer developed. From asat, that which is temporary, O Lord, please take me to the permanent. From the ignorant, from this knowledge of temporary things, let me to the true knowledge of permanent. So they understood that, and that is called Brahman, and sometimes that is called Atman. And then some people, ordinary people, can't understand, so the God is coming down in different form. As Krishna, he came, and then Gita, Bhagavad Gita, and through the Bhagavad Gita, he is giving us the same old the knowledge. Arjuna understood it, and that is the thing that he is telling. You are the supreme God of Namo Namastestu Sahasra Kritva Punascha Bhuyopi Namo Namaste. Again and again I am salute you, again and again the salutation to you. Nama Purastad Atha Prishtataste. Then very nicely he said, now when we go to God, we actually offer pranam at his holy feet, and from the front side, God is here, I am offering my pranam. But is God only that? From the back, from the both sides, from the above, from the below, everywhere. So the Arjuna, after the great realization, he said, Nama Purastad Atha Prishtataste. Namastestu sarvatas eva sarva Ananta birjam ati vikramastvam sarvam samapnoshi tatosi sarva. And this Arjuna, he is telling the salutation to thee before and behind. Salutation to thee on every side, O all thou infinite in power and infinite in powers, the pervadest all. You are you are everywhere, and wherever thou art all, each and everything that you are, I am saluting to you in different form. The God is there, I am saluting. So God is inside the temple, God is outside the temple also. And this knowledge we find in the words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He is telling, when you only close your eyes, you see God within your heart. Can't you open your eyes and see the God in other forms? In your enemies, in your friends, in your relatives, in each and everything, because there is nothing but God. So that is called Jnana and Vijnana. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna very nicely used these two terms, the Jnana and Vijnana. The Jnana means the concept that God is there. The God has created this universe. That is the concept. Almost every religion, all the followers of the religious people, different religion, they all say the same thing. The God is there and God has created this universe. But at the same time, he is blessed who can really feel that everything is God. Everything is God. So that everything, whatever we see, sometimes the bad people, sometimes my enemies, sometimes my friends, each and every one is nothing but the God. And that we find in the life of the different holy people, holy personalities. The Mirabai, she could not see anything wrong when the people are criticizing her and also creating problem in her life. But she is very happy because the God is playing with me. The Meera is thinking, oh my God, my beloved, he is playing with me like this. So that is called the love for God. Understanding is so clear and cannot see anything but God. So that Arjuna is telling, from all different corners to all different things, I offer my pranam. Then he is telling, I am sorry. Why? Sakheti matva prasabham yaduktvam he Krishna he Yadav he Sakheti ajanata mahimanam tabedam maya pramanat pranayena vapi yaccha bahasartam asatkritosi viharasayya sanabhojaneshu eko tatha vachyuta tatsamaksham tatshamaye tvam aham aprameyam. Now he is telling, I never knew that you are God. I am so sorry. You were behaving just you were an ordinary person, and I also behaved like that. You behaved as a friend. I also thought that you are my friend. And I sat on the same chair in the same place where you were sitting. And I ate with you. And I moved with you. And sometimes I joked with you. I doubted. So all these things that usually the normal relationship a friend is having with another friend, I did. But I am so sorry for that. I was so ignorant, I couldn't understand that you are each and everything. So tat shamaye, therefore please pardon me. That he is telling, whatever I have unknowingly said from carelessness or love, addressing thee as O Keshava, like this, or Yadava, O friend, or sometimes O Krishna, I am sorry for that. And you are the so great, why I may have disrespectful to thee in fun, while walking, then sitting, or at the meal, when alone, O Achyuta, or in company, I implore thee, immeasurable one, to forgive all these. Sometimes we don't understand, so naturally they behave like that. When Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was in life and he was roaming in the different places of Calcutta, visiting the houses of the devotees, the people who were not aware of his divinity, most of the people, they always think that God means it is always in the sky, somewhere in the sky or in heaven. So what is that heaven? They don't know. But what is that God? They also are not very clear. But something who is very powerful, if they bless, all problems are solved, like that. Some ideas are there. But God can be my friend. God can be my son, my brother, and my beloved. And God may be with me. I do not know. So how to understand God? When Arjuna saw these, Vishwarupa, then only he was convinced. But Arjuna now understood, I was a fool, I could not understand the greatness of the Krishna. Krishna was always helping them. And in exchange of their help, he was not expecting anything in return. And that is the sign of God, unselfishness. Krishna was always loving them, caring them, advising them, guiding them. But even then they could not understand that Krishna was God. Only God can have that love. Love without any expectation, without any return. So God means love. God means unselfishness. So that is why we'll see that in the 12th chapter, the Krishna himself will say, whom I love most. So if we understand these, friends, if we understand these, then we'll understand that these are the very divine qualities, holy qualities, Swatika Bhava, that we have to possess to realize God. And then one day I myself will understand whom I am searching. I am that God. Because in reality, I am that God. And I have forgotten. And so I am behaving very peculiar way. That is not my nature. But I am jealous. I am criticizing others. I am always trying to grab things. A little bit of prestige. If someone is looking at me, someone else is not giving these or that, immediately I am angry. So much of ego. So I have forgotten that I am actually God. And all these things are not necessary. This much only. What is ignorance? This. And that again and again, all the avatars, whoever has come, and different forms, sometimes in the form of Sri Ramachandra, in the form of Krishna, in form of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Chaitanya, Sri Shankaracharya, Guru Nanak. So all these different people, they came in different places. They manifested that divinity, that love, that unselfishness, that concern for the people. They never wanted anything in return. But why can't you understand that much? So that is again and again we have to read and understand. Many people, and I was really very happy to note among our devotees they have thoroughly memorized the whole Bhagavad Gita, 700 sloka. There was one lady, she used to sit over here in our talks. She passed away. And she knew all the 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita. And that you just mentioned one word, from any verse. Immediately she could say, that is a great thing. But at the same time, we have to understand the purport of the Bhagavad Gita. And what is that? Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he was unique. And the simple way he said, Gita means tyagi. Give up, give up, give up. Give up everything, because nothing you can hold and nothing you can carry to your next life. Nothing. So what to give up? How to give up? Ego. Why I am associated with all this? Because of my ego. And if I just give up, then how I will survive? Living on God. I am the son of God. I am the daughter of God. I am the servant of God. I am the friend of God. So like that we can, and he is telling this, Pita silokasya characharasya tamasya pujyasya gurur gariyan natvat samosta adhika kutanyo lokatraipya pratima prabhava tasmat pranamma pranidhaya kayam prasadayetvam ahamishamidhyam pite baputrasya sakeva sakhu priya priyar a asideva shodum. And in the 43rd verse he says, Thou art the father and of the world. Pitasi lokasya characha. Asya, this loka, this world, chara achara. Chara means sentient and insentient, the living and inert. You are the father. That means you have created. Everything has been created out of you. Tamasya pujyasya gurur gariyan. And you are the greater than the great. Guru gariyan. None there exists who is equal to thee in the three worlds. Natat samuha asti adhiko kutanya lokatrayapya. Lokatraya. Traya, tina loka. The three lokas. What is that? Swarga, Martha and Patala. The Swarga, Martha and Patala. The Hindus, they believe that there are three lokas. There are 14 lokas actually. But three are main, Swarga, Martha and Patala. The hidden world, and the Martha, this manifested this world, and Swarga, the heaven. And you are there in every place. So that means that you are the great, the three in the three worlds. Who then can excel thee? O thou of the power incomparable. So pratima prabhava, no one. So in different way, the Arjuna is trying to tell that I have understood that you are peerless, uncomparable. If no one can compare you, uncomparable. Tasmat pranamma pranidhaya kayam prasadayetvam ahamishamidhyam pite baputrasya sakheva sakhu priya priyarha asideva shodhum. And so prostrating by body in adoration. Tasmat pranamma pranidhaya kayam. The kaya means the body. I am offering my body and mind at your holy feet. I have only two things, only this body and my mind. But the consciousness that is within me, that is you. So if I think that you are external, you are outside, so what I can offer, though these two, the body and the mind is also belongs to you, I like to offer these two to you. And And he is telling in this way, thy forgiveness, and I pray for your forgiveness. As a father, forgive me, because the Father forgiveth the Son. So please forgive me. Friend, a dear friend, O beloved one, is love. Even so shouldest thou forgive me, O Deva. Piteva putrasya sakheva sakhu priya priyarha asi deva shodhum. Now this relation that we are having in this world, the father and the son, if the son is doing some mistake, father is always forgiving the son, or sometimes the friend to another friend, or a beloved to some beloved, because of the close relation, won't you do it to me? Because you are the supreme God. So by that way, Arjuna is going on. Adrishtapurvam rishitoshmi drishtva bhayena cha prabhathitam manomi tadeva me darshaya deva rupam prasida devesha jagannivasa kiritinam gadinam chakrahasta ichha mitvam drashtumaham tathaiva tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaha bhavavishya-murte. Now we will conclude over here. Here the Arjuna, he is telling, overjoyed am I to have seen what I saw never before. Yet mind is distracted with terror. Adrishta purvam hrishitoshmi drishtva. Adrishta, the which I have not seen before. No one has seen before. And that I have seen. And naturally I am so happy. Hrishitoshmi drishtva, after seeing that. But bhayena cha prabhathitam manomi, but that huge, the form of yours, that has created fear within my heart. I am really very sorry. Tadeva me darshaya rupa, show me, O Deva, only that form of thine. Have mercy, O Lord, O Deva, O abode of the universe. Tadeva me darshaya deva rupam prasida devesha jagannivasa. Devesha, we had just explained, Deva, Isha Devesha, the God of all gods, and Jagannivasa, the Basha means the residing, Jagat, the whole world, whole universe, whole created thing, they are all residing in you. So please show me that normal form which I saw. But the thing that you have shown me, I understand that no one can see this. I am so blessed, but at the same time I am afraid. Seeing your huge form, I cannot meditate on you, I cannot concentrate on you because of the fear. So come back to your normal form. Kiritinam gadinam chakrinam cha. Now what form he is telling? So that Kirita, that you must be, that the God, the Vishnu form he is thinking, the Gadinam Chakrahasta, you are having the days, mess and all those, the discus and all those things. Ichhami tvam drashtumaham tathaiva. I want to see you in that form. Tenaiva rupena sahar chaturbhujena. Assume that same four-armed form and Sahasrabaho Bhavamishya-murti, and that 1,000 forms and universal form, that you please come to me in the form of the four-hand Chaturbhuja, that Vishnu-murti, Vishnu-rupa. The Vishnu, the Lord Vishnu, when the Supreme Being, which is formless and all-pervading, took the first form in the Bhagavata, those who have followed the Bhagavata, that I mentioned in one place, in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavata, 9th book, that there, the first time the Supreme Being, which was having no form, when the Brahma and other gods and goddesses, they went and told, please show us a form so that we can imagine that you are like this. He only showed that to Brahma and to Shiva and no other gods and goddesses, that his form is the Vishnu. The 4 arms and holding, the one is lotus, one is the disc, and another the conch, and another the mace, like that, the 4 arms, and the yellowish color, but the golden colored dress. And it was so bright that even the Brahma and Shiva closed their eyes, they couldn't see it properly. So that is Vishnu. So the Hindus, they always express things in a symbolic way. And the name, if you follow, what is Vishnu? Vishnu means Vistareti Vishnu, everywhere, all pervading. That is Vishnu. That means it is everywhere. It is all pervading. And if it is all pervading, if it is everywhere, how it can have the form? At the same time, that Supreme Being which is everywhere is all powerful. So it can take a form, any form, and that form which the devotee will like. So now the Arjuna, he is praying to the Supreme Being, you come in the form of the Vishnu, and the benign face of the Vishnu, very calm, the serene, the personality of the Lord Vishnu. I want to worship you, I want to see you in that form. Friends, in the next our discourse, we will discuss these few slokas that was left today, and Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. What the Bhagavan said, we will listen in the next sometime.
So we have some questions.
Okay.
The first question is from Arpita Vishwas. She is asking, does that mean if everything being is God, then we who are seeking God are only trying to know ourselves, our real selves, the Atman?
Exactly, Arpita. Arpita, right?
Yes.
Exactly the same. That's why in the Hinduism you will find there are 4 ways to reach God, and mainly 2 we can say, and that is the jnana, karma, bhakti, and dhyana. These are the 4 ways. Swami Vivekananda has the beautiful 4 books on these 4. Yoga, we call it yoga. Jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, dhyana yoga, and karma yoga. Now, in reality, through any path you follow, we reach over there and we see it is me only. And sometimes the Sufis, they're mentioning about this. And they say, Anal Haq, I am that, Anala, I am that, the Supreme One. I and the Father in heaven are one. The Christianity also says in the same form. But here in the Vedanta, because the Hinduism goes to the ultimate, it says even the form of God, even the heaven, that is also having the duality. So we go beyond duality. And there remains only one, and that is the self, that is the consciousness, that is all pervading. And how to understand that? After the realization of the self, the Brahma Jnanis, those who have realized the self and Brahman, they came back and told that I cannot explain it, it is impossible. It's very subjective, you have to realize it yourself. But only I can give you the hint. They call it Arundhati Naya. What the hint? That it is eternal. It is full of knowledge. And it is full of bliss, full of joy. Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. So yeah, you are correct. It is all when we go, realize it is our own self.
The next question is from Julia Biss. A question: we have ideas of God, emotions about God. How do we know that we have realized God?
Julia, you need not to ask anyone when you realize God. You know what will happen? The moment you realize God, first thing that you are not at all interested in these worldly things. All this attachment to the worldly things goes away. And second, including the body, including the mind, everything goes away. And then second thing that happens, you are full with joy, full with joy. In any situation, any condition, in any place, that only thing that you will find that is joy. And that is, one can understand, I have realized the God. But of course, those who realize, you need not to go to someone and ask. If you go and ask, sir, can you please tell me whether I have realized God or not? That means you're not. So that is and the moment you realize, that's all. I will tell you the beautiful story that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna gave. And in India, you know, when the arranged marriage, and after the marriage, after I don't know, maybe 3 days or 7 days, the married couple, they visit the girl's house. That is a big function. The marriage is held, and from the husband's house they will go, both of them. And when that new the bride they went, her friends over there, they came, and their bridegroom, who is your husband? There were so many young people, they came, the friends of the husband. So they were asking, hey, who is your husband? And not like the present day. And the girls used to hide behind the curtains, and secretly they used to observe the husband and the friend. So they were observing like that. And the friends of that lady, they are asking, who is your husband? This one, this boy? And she said, no. And that, no. That, no. Ultimately, when they reached to the husband, and they pointed to that one gentleman and said, is that one your husband? She never said yes or no. She only smiled with great joy. Yes, that is my husband. So by giving this very rustic example, the village example, very simple example of the society, Sri Ramakrishna said, when you see God, something, oh, is this God? Your mind will say no, no, no. Then ultimately, when you truly stand face to face with that reality, then you will be full with joy. Achha. So thank you. Let us conclude this pranam mantra. Again from the Gita Dhyana, the last words of the Gita Dhyana. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunnanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Nabidu Sura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namah. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat.